Never dodged my calls. If I wanted to call him, he was an absolute gentleman.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
We now know that Trump doesn't hate all Democrats. He at least likes the Democrats who he perceives to be as crooked as he is.
Ah, wait a minute, ring that bell!
I mean, between Menendez and Blagojevich, who he pardoned.
If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of long-ass games come knockout round because they have to finish. So you have to play up to 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout. A penalty kick. Yeah.
Finally, you can get hot and bothered on Connections at 10 p.m. Eastern Monday and by delay Tuesday through Friday at 1 a.m. Eastern.
Many customers have seen a young girl in
period clothing. Do it. Just say it. I can't say it. She knows, even though it means something totally different. Immediately she's thinking she's wearing rags.
Bloody Mary.
Come on, do
Bloody
it.
Mary.
Bloody
Mary.
That was my own joke. What? Were you looking in the mirror when you did that?
No.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. What makes GabNet talk like you've never heard before? Well, it's the Citizen Panel concept. Our talk hosts talk to a whole group of people at the same time. Want to be a Citizen Panel member and add to the conversation? It's simple. First, download Skype. Answer 4 simple questions during the install. Your personal stuff, first name, last name, email address, and most importantly, the ID you want us to know you by. Then, from Add Contacts on Skype, enter GabNet Live. Become a contact, and you're ready to go. Now, if you're a Luddite and you hate computers, you could use the telephone, just like Grandma had back in the day. Call 347-352-0079 to connect via voice. Don't be shy. It's fun and addictive. Now, the last time I did this promo, I said if you don't call, I'd kill my dog. Of course, I was kidding, but then I accidentally killed him. So, to replace Fluffy, I got this cuddly pussycat. And now, if you don't call, I'll kill this cat. Don't worry, Sylvester. I won't let them hurt you. I'm not kidding. Call now or Sylvester gets it. Again. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hello, everybody. It's Alex Bennett. And it's the Ramble. Yes, it is. Okay, it's the Ramble. We go until midnight tonight. I was trying to figure out what to do tonight. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what to do. Let me turn. Why don't I sound loud enough? Oh well. To hell with it. Anyway, I was going to. I haven't known what to do tonight. Okay, because I don't have a interview that I've done that I could play during this half hour, and I don't have anything to talk about particularly. And on top of that, I'm starting. We started the video off late. I guess a lot of you weren't getting the signal because, but we started in time for the show because I pushed the wrong button here, and it's all because there was a change tonight. And as I get older, I'm used to doing things in a specific order, and if they're out of order, they cause me problems. Okay, so tonight I get a thing today from Damien that he's got some errands he's got to do tonight, and he can't get home in time to do his show. So would I just do whatever? I guess you would say play a rerun or just know that he's not going to be there and to take appropriate action, as it were. And so that's fine. I mean, Damien takes time off every now and then, as well he should. I don't take any time off, and I really should. In fact, next Thursday, I will not start the show at 10 o'clock. We'll play some old video or whatever, or audio rather, from the 24/7 until I get here, because I'm going to the theater, and I'm going at a 7:30 show, which should be out about 9:30, but that means I may not get back home in time, so I may be starting the show late. And I feel guilty about that, and I shouldn't feel guilty about it because, hell, I don't take any days off, and I should take quite a few and go do stuff. You know, I did one night off, and Jack did it for me, and that was very nice. But, you know, soon I'm going to have to take a week off or a couple of weeks off here and there. Because girlfriend and I haven't taken a vacation in like 6 years or something like that, and I really feel I owe it to her, you know. So, but I doggedly do this show every night. And so tonight I thought, well, I don't feel like talking for a half hour, so I have a video of the interview I did with Penn Jillette up and waiting to go. But then I decided, I can hold off and do that on another day. So I have no idea what I'm going to do for a half hour. But because as I get older, I have less adventures. You know, I used to have a lot of adventures. I could come on the air and talk to you about what I did over the weekend and something interesting, and nothing interesting happens to me. You know, girlfriend comes home from work. We sit there, watch TV together. We predictably watch the news. And then we watch some shows that I may have banked for us to watch that are our favorites. And then she goes and starts binge watching some series. She's watching the Durrells of Corfu now. So I have to go in the other room and watch whatever's on my list to watch. That's about as exciting as our life gets. And that bothers me, because it used to be that I used to just have all kinds of adventures, you know, and I just don't anymore. And I don't, you know. So I can't sit here for a half hour and tell you about something amazing that happened to me today, but I will tell you something that I did get. This morning the doorbell rings at 10 o'clock in the morning, and luckily I was awake, and I get this FedEx thing, and in it is a letter. Yeah, FedEx, a letter. All right, because damn it, I had better damn well get this thing. You know, they couldn't just mail this letter to me. So I want to play something first of all, because we really won't have a reason to play this much longer. And so I thought I would play it for you so that you can hear it one last time, or one last couple of times, because we're going to have to put this one to bed.
This is an Internet Network news break. IP Pingsley reporting. Our top story, the Great American Broadcast Network, otherwise known as GABNet, is now a TuneIn partner. TuneIn, the world's largest audio network, has joined forces with GABNet, the world's most innovative talk network. GABNet's partnership with TuneIn means that listeners now have 3 main ways to listen to GABNet programming: GABNet.net, TuneIn.com, and the convenient TuneIn app for smartphones. To participate in the network's innovative citizen panels on GABNet programs, use Skype and type the handle GABNet Live, or call on your phone 347-352-0079. For more information on this network, its programs, and its hosts, log on to GABNet.net. That's GABNet.net. This has been an Internet Network news break.
Now, why are we going to have to put that to bed? and put it into the vaults of that which used to be but never will be. Okay, so I get this letter, 10 o'clock this morning, FedEx, right? It had to cost them at least, I don't know, $8, right? I don't know. What is an overnight letter envelope from? Well, I don't know if it was overnight. Probably was sent, Express Saver, it says on there. And it's from TuneIn. They're cheap because they went Express Saver. And it reads, Dear Audio Partner. So they don't even really know who the fuck they're sending it to. It's addressed to GabNet, all right? And it says, Dear Audio Partner, reference is made hereby to the TuneIn Memorandum of Understanding entered into on 1/6/15, called the Agreement, and by and between GabNet and TuneIn Incorporated, parentheses, TuneIn. Please accept this email as the required 60-day written notification of TuneIn's election of termination, such that the agreement shall not auto-renew on 1/6/19. Rejected by TuneIn. Now, this doesn't mean anything, really. Are we still going to be on TuneIn? Yes, we're still going to be on TuneIn. Anybody can be on TuneIn. All they have to do is, sign up for it. What we had was they either they came to me or I went to them, or there was somebody who turned me on to this guy at TuneIn who said, would you like to be a TuneIn partner? And I said to myself, well, what's that? And he said, well, you just sign up and then you partner with us. And what we'll do is we'll give you a certain amount of publicity and things like that when you first sign up with us. And I thought, well, that couldn't hurt. Okay. So we did it. And for about the first week, they plugged us. All right. And then for the rest of it, which is, I guess here, a 3-year period, what, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, wait a minute. It's all of 15, all of 16, all of 17, and then all of 18. 4 years. 4 years ago. Now, I got this and I went, wow. I'd forgotten I'd even signed that thing because they didn't do shit for us. So why do they even have to get out of the agreement? They didn't do anything about it in the first place. So it came as a shock to me. It kind of bothered me because they're rejecting me, and I'm going, what are they rejecting me for? I mean, I get more. I got no juice out of them at all. A lot of people use TuneIn to listen to the shows, but all they're listening to is the 24/7. So that's all they're getting. They're not getting like each of the individual shows on demand. You can get us at that time when that thing was first recorded. I guess, Rob, if you're listening, you recorded that. It had to be almost 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago. Wait a minute. Again, 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 years ago. So when that was recorded, we were thrilled. We were getting on something, But now, let's see. We're on iTunes. We have our own on-demand on the Gabnet.net site. We are also on. We're on some things I don't even remember we're on, but we're on Spotify. That's our newest acquisition, is Spotify. We're on Spotify. What else? You can get us on what is it? Oh God, I can't remember them all. Okay, but we're on just about everything, including TuneIn. Okay, but TuneIn didn't do shit for us. This agreement that we had, no wonder they ended it. They forgot they even had it, and there's probably some lawyer who was sitting there going, and it says, dear TuneIn partner, is it? What is it? Yeah, TuneIn partner. That's what we were called. They probably did away with the program altogether, so they had to send out FedExes to any number hundreds of people or thousands of people that they did partnerships with, because they no longer saw that as valuable because they weren't acting on it. It wasn't getting them anything. We, for a while, kept making a big deal about GabNet, a tune-in partner. As you may remember, we used to say it all the time. But I stopped saying it because I didn't see any value in saying it. It didn't. We weren't getting anything back for it. You know, what I was getting back for it is every time I went and looked for GabNet on TuneIn, there was GabNet. It came up under a search of GabNet. Okay, it comes up, and then below it, it says, here are a lot of other things you might enjoy. You know, and I didn't see that when I went to other things, when under the other things you might enjoy, we ever showed up. So it was a real shock to the system this morning to be rejected like this. My God, our partnership with TuneIn is ending. They no longer want us as a partner, and I'm thinking to myself, now in 4 years, what the fuck did we get out of that? Let's see, it's 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. What, in 4 years, what the fuck did we get out of that? And the answer was goose egg. So anyway, I should have sent them a letter of cancellation. I should have beat them to the punch. Like I should have done it 3 years ago when they weren't doing shit for us. But we'll still be on TuneIn. That's not a problem. So, you know. I took them off our mast and replaced them with Spotify, a link to Spotify, where you can get all the programs. You just, under search, if you go to Spotify, on some browsers, if you hit our Spotify link, it will take you to just Spotify. So then you have to go search and just search GabNet. That's the only name you have to put in. It reacts to that. And then all 5 shows we have up there. We have, you know, my show, we have The Exchange, we have Jack Bishop's show, we have The Arena, and we have Michael Snyder's movie reviews, since I really wanted to foist him on everybody. And there you can go and you can hear, you know, usually it's last night's show. You know, so let's see here. What is it? Migrate. Nice guy. Oh, okay. Oh, here's the other thing that's happening. Wait a minute. Do you have that? Okay. I have. And I have. I'll tell you a story. Tell you a couple of stories because they kind of all fit together. Tonight we're going to be using Skype, but as of tonight, the version of Skype we're using is no longer supported. But that doesn't seem to bother me. It doesn't seem to bother me at all because it seems like Skype will work. Well, we'll see if it works tonight. There's no reason why it shouldn't. I tried calling myself from another device, and I got it okay, and everything's fine. But as you know, the wonderful people out there in what do you call it land, Skype land, have decided that they want to force everybody to go to Skype 8. And 8-point-fuck, as I like to call it. And so they're saying we will no longer support Skype 7. Oh, well, I like using Skype 7.0 because I like that I can get all the citizen panel on one page, where the new Skype, you can only get 4 people at a time and a bunch of bubbles of their pictures up at the top. And secondly, if I do it on this PC, I can't bring up the screen. I have to go through another process that will then feed me a picture of the screen, and that is one step further than I have to go now, okay? If we have to do it eventually, I suppose I will give it a try. I could do it also from my Mac over in this other computer over here, and then I could do it simply as you know. I would have to explain to you how I get that picture on the screen, but it's basically I find the browser, the Skype program, and then I say I want the screen, and I configure it so it looks good. This other thing, I have to launch a program to then get the picture from the screen because I can't do it like I used to. Okay, so what I don't like is that people don't like you to do things that they don't want you to do. And in the case of Skype, they want everybody to go to the new Skype 8.0 because it's wonderful. It sucks. It's bloated. It's also, I understand, and I haven't been able to find this out yet, a memory hog. Okay? It just eats up a lot of memory in your computer. So it really sucks. And it looks terrible on the screen. I cannot configure it for our show very well. So I'm very used to the way it was, and hopefully I'll be able to use this for a long time to come, and they won't do something to botch it up so I can't use it. And what's really good about it is now that they're not forcing me, now that they've had this is their date that we're not going to. What they're not going to do is they're not going to do anything about 7.0. They're not going to support it. They're not going to fix it if it goes wrong or whatever. Okay, fine. I'm fine with that. Leave it as it is. Don't touch it because every time you tried to upgrade it, it got worse. All right? And just let me keep using it. But I was getting notations all the time saying, you've got to upgrade now. You've got to upgrade now. The only thing that I'm getting now, okay, is that, which says this version of Skype will be discontinued soon. To continue using Skype, blah, 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 and then update to Skype. Well, before, what it was doing every hour on the hour was having a thing pop up saying, hey, do you want to, why don't you just put in the new version of Skype? And then you had to push not now. But it doesn't seem to be going off today. So maybe that's a good thing about the change, okay? Anyway, so I bring that up because that starts today. And then what I was looking at on the other machine, we use a thing. What we have to do, a lot of people don't want to know how the cow is killed, okay, or slaughtered. But let me tell you how the feast is made here. We have a thing called encoder. The encoder takes what I say here, what I do here, the audio encoder, and sends it out to a server that then splays the signal out to all of you out there, and you pick it up. All right? So you get it? Like the encoder I described to Jack Bishop once when I was trying to make him understand the whole thing is like a transmitter in a radio station. And it sends the signal out. All right? So for years we were using a program called Nicecast, which was a good name for it because it was nice and it did a really good job and was very simple to use, and it has a very small footprint on the desktop. I wish I could show it to you. It's beautiful. And it was terrific. Well, the company that did Nicecast sent out a thing last year and said, we're doing away with Nicecast. And I go, oh my God, here's another company. Here, start using a program called Audio Hijack, it's called. And let me tell you this, Audio Hijack is a great little program. We use it for our 24/7 channel. It's good. It's really works well. However, Nicecast worked really well and was really simple and really good. Okay? And so all of a sudden, they're just out of a clear blue sky. We're stopping using Nicecast. You got to use Audio Hijack. So I started using Audio Hijack on that machine, but not on this machine. But I still have it installed on the server machine, even though I don't use it. So over here tonight, I get a thing that says, Audio Hijack has been, Nicecast has been discontinued, and you should go over to this other thing we've got, which I already have installed, Then I look at the other machine here, and I have Nicecast on that machine just simply because it was there, all right? And it says, Mac OS 1.4 is unsupported. Migrate from Nicecast to Audio Hijack now. Now, all they had to do, here's to make it work with the newest OS of Mac, was to just redo the program as a 64-bit program. Now, I'm not a programmer, but I've been told by most programmers that's not a big brain trust to do that. That any good programmer knows how to take something and have it go from being 32-bit to 64-bit. But they just didn't want to. You know, I mean, their program should have been 64-bit all along because it works better as a 64-bit program, and the Macs have been 64-bit for years. What does that mean, 64-bit, you say? I don't really know. But all Mojave wants 64-bit, but it does say that a lot of the legacy stuff at 32-bit will still work. But now this company is like Skype. All your life, the whole thing's going to come to a close. It's going to crash and blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. I don't need that, you know? And they made a really fine little product, and their Audio Hijack is a fine little product. And it's not that I'm using it over there. I'm just not using it here because it takes up too much real estate on the screen. And plus, I'm not using Mojave on this machine because, here you go, Apple decided that if you had yourself a Mac as old as this one, you couldn't upgrade to Mojave. That there was a cutoff date because they could create a version of Mojave so that it could be backward compatible to all the older machines, but they didn't. All the other programs they did had that, you know, and didn't have a problem. All these years, every time they've been upgrading, they didn't have to have a cutoff date, but they just do that because they want you to go out and buy more newer Macs. And the fact is, they don't make a Mac as good as this old Mac Pro that we call it in the old days. It's, you know, it's just the desktop Mac. You know, I mean, it's all these companies that force you to go from something which was working just fine to something that's now a work in progress. Now, I had a problem. Did I have a problem with Audio Hijack? Yeah, I did. It crashed on me twice in just the last couple of weeks. And so I wrote them over there at the company, and I said, you know, I like Nicecast, but your new program crashes. And so now they had me send them all these little files of crash reports and things like that. And I'm just going, and they keep today they wrote me again. Would you tell us one more thing about, because we're trying to find out what made it crash. And I just wrote them and said, you know, Nicecast never in the, I guess what, I've been using it ever since we were over at the TV station. Nicecast has never, ever crashed on me. So, you know, so it's all these people that are trying to get you to go to something else, and they force you to do it rather than allow you, if you want to keep what you have. And there's no reason why Skype can't say, hey, look, we're not going to come up with new updates for 7.0. It seems pretty solid. We don't need to have too many fixes for it or anything like that. Keep using it if that's what you like. But we really think you should get used to 8.0 because it's really swell. And let me be the judge of that. Give me the choice. But I don't get that choice. And that kind of bothers me. Let me see here. I don't see any numbers here. I got to redo this here because it's not doing what it's got to do. There we go. Okay. So anyway, you get what I'm saying. Why do they always force us to use something else? Why is it there's this forced obsolescence? You know, let me use what I'm going to use and leave me alone. I don't want any of that. You know. Anyway, I notice I've been, you know, I don't think I can talk for a half hour and 25 minutes, and then I wind up talking for 25 minutes. The Skype lines are open. Phil's not going to call tonight, so that means that the coast is clear for a lot of the rest of you to get a word. Oh, wait a minute. This thing just came up from Skype saying latest version of Skype is ready to install now. I wish I could just write a note and send it back to them saying, leave me the fuck alone. Also, they should allow you to be able to turn off those notifications. They don't do that either. They want to just bug you and make your life a living hell and have this ugly thing here that's only going to be up here as long as nobody's calling, that tells me that this version of Skype will be discontinued soon. To continue using Skype in the future, update to the latest version today. Wow. Well, let's see. Now you'll see how a picture comes up on there. See, here comes Tom Yamaguchi, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Do you have any problems this way in your life with the companies?
Well, I was going to say that I actually did use Audio Hijack.
Yeah.
Many years ago when you first were on Sirius and you had your website.
Are you sure you were using Audio Hijack? Because I think it's a relatively new product from this company.
Oh no.
Oh, it's been around.
That was 2004. Yeah, because I would have to go to work, and I didn't want to miss any of the show, so I would set it so to record it. Well, when I went away, and then when I came back, I was able to listen to it.
Are you sure it was Audio Hijack?
I'm absolutely sure. Yes, it is. I might even have it on my computer still. But
the company was company's Rogue Amoeba is the name.
Yeah,
of the
Rogue
company.
Amoeba.
Really?
The logo, the slug with the machine gun.
Well, what do you call it? Audio Hijack is. I don't know what the program was then, but what it is now, it's very nice. It's modular. I can put the feed, and then I can say what the feed's going to be, and then I can I can even put a VU meter there, so I can see when it's working or not working. And then but it does have a few problems that I don't like. But outside of that, it's a fine little program that I have no complaint with, right?
It worked for me when I was using it. Of course, then Sirius changed their the way they put programs on the web, and it didn't work anymore. And now I really don't even find any really neat because the way the internet works now, you don't have to record anything. Everything is just everything is just available on demand.
Right. You don't have to record by this video thing that we do here every night because it's going to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't even add YouTube to the mix. YouTube, and we're on Facebook, and we're on Spotify, and we're on Gabnet.net. And what's that other one that we're on? I can't even remember half of the ones we're on. What? Huh?
Roku?
Roku? Yeah. Are you tapping something? Yeah. There we go.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, Roku. You can get us on Roku. You can. But there's one other that I can't even remember the name of the company. I'm trying to remember it now. Anyway, we're on a lot of shit, So, but sad to say, we're not going to be on TuneIn anymore. I mean, we're not going to be a TuneIn partner anymore.
Yeah, you sort of scare me because that's generally how I listen. When I'm not watching on YouTube, I'm listening on a phone with the
you'll still get us on TuneIn. It's not like they're taking us off. It's just the partnership agreement we had is being ended. But the partnership, I thought, had ended a while ago because they didn't do jack shit for us.
You forgot all about it.
It was a piece of it was a what did they call it? It wasn't a contract. It was a tune-in memorandum of understanding. So fuck TuneIn. I mean, you can hear us on TuneIn. It's the 24/7 feed, that you're getting on TuneIn. But there's so many other ways to get us. So, you can just go to instead of using TuneIn, just go to the Gabnet page, and click on the thing at the top, and it will start playing our programs. You know, same thing as TuneIn, basically.
Yeah. For me, it's just more convenient to use my phone.
Yeah, well, you can get you can get GabNet on the phone.
Right.
Yeah. And what happens is I had to do it in a certain way so that it brings up a separate player on your screen when you push that thing, because I bought a secure site. It's
right.
We're secure, whatever that means. I don't know. I got sold it. It's stupid. Anyway, most of the things on the internet are not secure sites. All right. But anyway, it's a secure site. But the minute if I had it play on the browser, immediately I would lose that security setting. Okay, so I had to make it so it did it outside of the browser, and now you're secure all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of not secure, I don't know if people are even interested in this. And by the way, folks, no Phil here tonight. You can get a word in edgewise. Come on, join us. We had a problem with our Canadian server that the only thing it really does is serve several audio files for the Roku channels. Okay. But the main thing it does is we have a thing we make called an XML file. And to make this very simple, the XML file simply tells all these various things that we have where to go and listen to the program. It tells iTunes where to go. It tells Roku where to go for the live program or for any of those programs. It puts up all the pictures. So all I'm saying is they're called XML files, and we reference that file. That file says where a particular thing, like Spotify, uses our XML files too. And it tells them where to go to get the program. Okay, I can put the program anywhere, but it goes there to get the program. Well, those have been there since the beginning. All of a sudden, the other night, I couldn't post to that server, so I posted to it. I called them, and I thought they've been a lousy company the last couple of years, and I figured it'd take 2 weeks for them to solve the problem. And what was it too boring, Brian? Gee.
That ended tech talk.
But here's the thing, the maddening thing about it. So, within a day, they had it fixed. They were very good about it. Terrific. New ownership. Terrific. Solved the problem. But now I'm looking at online at the files, and there are files there that aren't mine. I mean, literally, and I think I can say this somewhat without equivocation, something like over a couple of thousand files that weren't mine. And they were obviously put on there by some hackers who were using my account to serve whatever they serve.
Oh, my.
So now I'm spending the whole day cherry picking the whole site to get rid of all these files. I got rid of all of them except one, and it just says that file isn't there. So whatever. I finally cleaned it all up, but it literally took me hours upon hours upon hours to do. And I'm still finding them. You know how, like I don't know, you broke a glass and the glass splayed everywhere, and you got the vacuum cleaner and you cleaned it up, but every now and then you find one more piece of glass.
Or shards.
Yeah.
When you're roofing.
Yeah, so I find a new shard every now and then, that's in there. But basically, I think whoever's trying, and then I changed my password on the site. So let's see.
And then they'll do it again 2 years later.
Well, what bothers me is that the company, and I'm not blaming the new ownership, I'll blame the old ownership, that they didn't do anything to protect against this sort of thing to their computers. For all I know, it's the Russians, and it's the way they've been hacking the elections. I think
they're probably satisfied with their server in Trump Tower.
Yes, right, right. Yeah. But, you know, so, I mean, maybe I thwarted their attempts at fixing the election next week. You know, I don't know. But I got rid of I spent all day, like, cherry picking, getting rid of them.
Yeah, I heard the word hacker and you know, private app and, you know, the way you conduct business. And that's all the information I need to formulate my one question, which is this. Mm-hmm. If people like that, or if I should say despicable urchins like that, were incarcerated the way Trump wants to incarcerate illegal immigrants and whatnot, would anyone on this panel thus far complain? I highly doubt it.
I doubt it too. That and robocallers.
That and if they were subjected to waterboarding.
Yeah. Robocallers should be subjected to waterboarding. I think that.
No, I'd cut them in the pieces and show it to themselves
as
they were still alive.
You know,
and I'm sure I'd be a fucking hero for it.
It used to be when I got those calls, it was actually a human being, and I could just go fuck you in the train you came in on. You know, or you know, and like what I used to love when a woman would call. And or a guy, I would say, are you wearing any clothes right now? Because I'm not. And they said, what kind of pervert are you? I said, I'm not a pervert. You're the one who called me.
Yeah, the kind of pervert doesn't call you preemptively.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Tom.
I've mentioned this before, but one of the nice new features I like on my iPhone is I'll get a call and on the display screen it says scam likely. And I get a whole bunch of them.
Well, do you have Haya? Is that the reason?
I don't answer the phone anyway if I don't
recognize. Next to Rob Alfano, Haya does that for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't answer it anyway if I don't recognize the phone number, and I'll just let the answering machine take it.
I got a newer thing than that. And I'm not going to recommend them yet because they fucked me over. All right. I'll explain this one too. It's called RoboKiller. And what it literally does is your phone doesn't ring. But it does give you a message saying RoboKiller intercepted a call from this number. So in case it is a number you wanted to accept, you could then do something to undo it.
Call them back?
Yeah, call them back or whatever. But basically, the phone just doesn't ring. The only problem that happened was I signed up for it last night, and girlfriend was next to me, and she was signing up for it too. And she said, I decided to go for the $29 plan. And I said, what $29 plan? The only plan I see here is either $9 a month, $9.99 a month, or a year for $97.99. And she said, well, that's not what mine said. And it said it must have said it, and you must have accident. Today she goes and gets her thing that came from Apple about the charge, and it's right, $29.99. And mine, I get a week free, and I went on to Apple and I said, cancel me, you know, because for me it was $99.99 or $97.99. So I get a hold of the company, and I do a chat with them, which took forever to get done, and they said to me, oh, well, we were testing different price levels. I'm thinking to myself, you mean my wife, you told her, okay, $29.99, but you told $97.99? Yep. And they said, well, we'll correct that. And I said, well, I already canceled the thing. And they said, well, we'll correct it on your phone number, so if you ever sign up for it again, you will get that lower rate. And I'm going, what kind of company does that? We're testing different price models. So that means that Apple should know about this because they're the intermediary in all of this. They should.
I'll tell you what, it's a company that takes advantage of loose regulations.
I guess. I mean, I don't think there's anything legally wrong with them charging any number of prices to any number of people. Saying, well, we're testing the price model here or whatever, but it's grossly unfair. You know, it makes me not have confidence in them as a company.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just like I have very little confidence in the United States of America and how it's governed.
Well, what makes you say that, Brian?
Well, what would have made me say that? Well, actually, you know what? My critique of the Democratic establishment is a rather recent one, because I kind of, as much as I used to be once upon a time a Republican, early 2002 or 2003.
I can imagine.
I was one of those acolytes who fell in love with the Iraq invasion because I thought we were going to liberate the. Plus, also remember, I was 19, going on 20, cum. Okay,
yeah,
young, dumb, full of cum, bullshit. And then I kind of fawned over the early years and the mid-level years of the Obama administration. But, you know, people like Jimmy Dore and Chris Hedges are right. This administration puts an ugly face on ugly policies that were masked over for the last, well, as long as I've been alive. And I was just too dense and too ignorant to realize that. So, in answer to your question, that's what makes me say that I've lost confidence.
Well, actually, I believe you. I believe you were a Republican because you look like you could be a Republican.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, you look good with a MAGA hat on. You know.
Please don't say that. Don't ever say that to me ever again.
Okay, I promise. I promise.
I've been a Republican.
What?
I've been a Republican.
Really?
In a few primaries.
Oh, in other words, you found that the Republican appealed to you.
I wanted to vote in the presidential primary, and especially if the Democrats weren't having a contested primary, I'd just go vote and select a Republican that I felt was the least offensive.
Well, you know,
I'd write in.
There was a time when I can honestly say that, you know, I could have conceivably gone for a Republican. I mean, Rockefeller was a very liberal Republican, as an example. You know, in fact, Rockefeller, if he were around today, would probably be a Democrat.
Sure. You know, Charles Percy.
Yeah. Yeah.
People like that. Sure.
Yeah.
What about a libertarian?
Thomas Keyhole here in California.
Yeah.
Probably one of the last great Republican U.S. senators.
And that's what I don't like about what's going on today, is that somehow if you're going to be a Republican, you have to believe thus and thus. And you can't veer over to the left at all.
You have that with the Democratic establishment, though, too.
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you. Democrats are the same way.
I like to compare it, metaphorically speaking, to a family reunion. You not only that you're throwing, that you're initiating. You not only have to invite your cool, and I'm using people on this panel as an example in a joking fashion. You not only have to invite your cool ass Aunt Renee, for example, or Aunt Charlene, but you also have to invite your dirty Uncle Phil too.
Yeah. Why do you call him Uncle Phil? Is there a reason for that?
I was saying I was using people on this panel in a joking fashion to facilitate my family reunion analogy.
Okay. All right.
When you have to ascribe to a political party, whether it be Republican or Democrat.
Right.
Especially with the rise of neoliberalism, as ugly as it has been.
Yeah. You know, I just think that there was a time when there was the distinct possibility that I could have voted for a Republican. In fact, there was a time when I said I resented the fact that I didn't vote for Goldwater. You know, because
Goldwater, huh? I can see why you'd say that.
Well, Goldwater turned out to be he may have been a conservative, but he was a reasonable conservative. And
he certainly did.
And on top of that, in retrospect, he was totally honest. You know, he wasn't lying to win elections. And I like that about him.
He certainly did a 180, and I mean a real 180 about face on homosexuals and homosexuality in the United States.
Oh, really? Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, just after he sustained 2 nervous breakdowns and had, he just had his own, if I weren't an atheist, I'd say, and I'm going to say it anyway, come to Jesus moment.
I'll tell you the one thing about him that was terrific that I remember the most was I saw an interview with him after he lost the election. And they were interviewing him on the front porch of his home in Arizona. And I think it was even nighttime. And he was sitting there and they said, "Well, what do you do now?" And he said, sometimes we come out here at night and just sit on the porch and rock back and forth and hum Hail to the Chief. So I after I saw that, I went, well, I should have voted for him. You know, I should have voted for him.
Yeah, look how wonderful Lyndon Johnson turned out to be.
Well,
I mean, yeah, he gave us the voting, but you know, the stuff, the positive stuff that he did. I've heard the people argue that it was Kennedy's plan to begin with.
Well, no, absolutely, and he admitted to that. They were Kennedy's proposals, but Kennedy could have never gotten them through. He wasn't the politician that LBJ was.
Well, she was a Massachusetts.
And when he died, LBJ, to his credit, said, "I'm going to finish the Kennedy legacy. I'm going to do all the things he wanted to get done." But he got them done because he knew how to get them done. He knew how to play
Unlike
down.
Obama, he knew how to.
He knew how to play down and dirty politics.
Well, in all fairness, there was the political environment was a lot different then. One thing, you know, I mean, the Democrats were in control, and he was able to get them through. But he did need Republican support. He did have Everett Dirksen, who really helped out a lot. I think it's unfair to compare to Obama because, as I said, the environment was totally different. The two parties were more willing to work together.
I agree with you. I think, but the problem is that a Lyndon Johnson, for instance, wouldn't have put up with a lot of crap that Obama put up with because he didn't know how to handle it. You know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. You know, one thing. And I think I mentioned this before one time I was on the program. A few years ago when they had the 50th anniversary of the signing of the Civil Rights Law, C-SPAN Radio had some recordings of the telephone conversations Johnson made with different senators. And he also had some you know, historians talking about it. And they said one thing to Johnson's credit was he knew when to back off. He knew the Senate well enough that if he pushed himself too much, he could destroy the deal.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, this you know, through the years when you were on seriously, oh, that Lyndon Johnson, he was you know, kicking ass and taking names. It's just you know, it's just a total fabrication of what was really going on. He was really more you know, he was more sophisticated than you're giving him credit for.
Well, I don't know how sophisticated he was. He was a great domestic president, lousy foreign president, because, you know, where Kennedy was the opposite. Kennedy was a very good, he had a good grasp of foreign politics, and because he'd seen the world, you know. Lyndon Johnson was more of a hometown guy. And he knew American problems, and he knew how to deal with American problems. But when it came to a thing like the Vietnam War, he was at a total loss. Total loss, you know.
Yeah, well, we don't know how you know, what Kennedy would have done. I mean, because he was a Cold Warrior. I mean, Kennedy could have been dragged into the Vietnam War too.
No, let's be honest about it. It's Kennedy, in fact, who started the roots of the Vietnam War. He sent the first.
Some say it was Eisenhower.
Eisenhower, actually. That goes back to
well,
Eisenhower.
he sent 15,000 troops in as military advisors, which I don't think Eisenhower did. Eisenhower was simply giving respect to the Saigon regime and whatever.
Yes.
You know, I mean,
yeah.
Oh, I thought we were losing Brian there. We can't afford to lose you, Brian. We only got 2 people here. What is this? Is anybody out there? Can you hear us out there?
Vernon Nunn on the chat. So.
Huh?
I saw Vernon Nunn on the chat. It would be nice if he.
Well, Vernon's got a problem because he's on vacation, and he called last night and had a very bad signal.
Yeah.
So.
We tried using Skype though, and tried cutting the video out of his Skype feed, and it still was fucked up.
Yeah,
so just try calling in if he's listening. Just try calling in using your cell phone the way Tim does. And he's been on GabNet Live. He just posted like 10 minutes ago.
Who's there? Who?
Tim Albright.
Oh, Tim Albright. Yeah, well, Tim, you can call. You know, we'd love to hear from
I wish
you.
you would, as a matter of fact.
You don't have
Both.
to. You don't have to
Both.
put up with the bloviating of Phil. You know.
Oh, I think it's fun when those two argue, Tim and Phil. You got somebody who knows the ins and outs of like Social Security and the nuts and bolts of how these bureaucratic policies work, and you got some like as you said, bloviating outsider who thinks he knows about shit, but
well,
don't know anything.
I'll tell you, I've known Phil.
I'll admit, I don't know much about
I've
him
known
either.
Phil since my time in San Francisco. In fact, I think I knew him in New York for a short time. So it's been years and years and years that we've known each other on some level. He just reappeared in my life a few years ago when this thing started happening. But he nevertheless, he goes back a long way, and I don't think he's a stupid guy. Okay,
No.
and yet
No,
I just don't
I think he
understand.
plays to the camera a lot.
Well, who knows how much he plays to the camera and doesn't. I don't ever, when I talk to him, discuss that, okay? Because I don't want to know. I want to just know what he wants to present on the show, okay? But I find that anybody who somehow can put up with what Obama's bullshit has got to be stupid. I mean, you've got to be an absolute fucking
Trump.
moron to buy that bullshit.
You mean Trump?
Trump's bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you said Obama.
Oh, excuse me. Trump's bullshit. I mean, who buys that? You know, I do realize maybe America's stupider than we give it credit for.
I think you're right. America is a lot dumber than we give it credit for.
Yeah, and that
We're certainly seeing these people come out of the woodwork, and we have been, even before 2016.
well, these guys have always been around, and they've always found an audience for their opinions and how they feel about things. I mean, this is nothing new. It's just that nobody's ever become president who's so just horrible.
If anything, Trump is kind of the manifestation, or has capitalized a lot on the AM talk radio talking points, and has become the physical manifestation of them.
Well,
For his own gain, of
yeah.
course, so that he could enrich himself and members of his family, if you believe that he even gives a shit about members of his family,
Well,
which some don't even give him that much credit.
the most recent version of this whole thing is his whole last minute approach to this election, which is to go after the immigration thing. And the way in which he's going after it, in what is, to anybody who is smart and sharp and knows about things, just stupid ideas being thrown out.
You don't even have to be super smart. All you have to have is a bullshit detector that works.
Well, yeah, but these people don't have bullshit detectors. They don't know where to buy them because Sears closed down. Yes.
I've been thinking about this for a while. One of my favorite classic books is James Thurber's Fables for Our Time.
Yeah.
Keith Olbermann used to read from that.
And I think one of the fables perfectly describes Trump and his followers. And it's called The Owl Who Was God. And basically, I guess you haven't read the story.
No.
But basically, they find this owl, and they ask him these different questions, and it's all variations of the answers are who, or whatever, or who it, and somehow they figure that the owl is answering their questions, and then they've convinced that the owl is God, and they're going to follow this owl everywhere it goes. It starts walking down the middle of this highway, and a oncoming truck is coming towards them and says, "What do we do?" And the owl says, "To wit." And they kept marching, and the truck runs them all over. So if you get a chance, it's a very funny story. That whole book is just wonderful.
Yeah.
But James Thurber, The Owl Who Was God.
Thurber was wonderful. He was blind, and he still was a cartoonist. That's what was interesting about him.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. I mean, like, for instance, he's going to send 15,000 troops to the border. Now, to begin with, I heard him say today there are 20,000 people marching to the United States. And the last thing I heard, they were down to a handful. They were down to a couple of thousand. Isn't that what you heard?
I thought they weren't marching. I thought they were traveling via caravan.
Well,
yeah,
caravan.
and also, yeah, this is the ABC interview where he also boasts that he's he's great at estimating crowds.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the guy who mailed those pipe bombs is a stable genius. Give me a fucking break.
Hey, we've been joined by let me see here. We've been joined by, wait a minute, are you on the phone, Vernon?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I don't know why your picture came up here. So let me get rid of that. Oh, I see. Okay, mobile. Okay, that's what we want. Okay, well, I don't know what the story is here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to get this all together. Wait a minute. There we go. Hi, Vernon. How are you this evening?
I'm just fine.
Yeah. So we've been talking about what kind of moron, is a Trump supporter. And
special breed of one.
Yeah. But the thing
I'm
is,
not going to say they're morons. I mean, I'm very reluctant to call people stupid, but people really can act very irrationally and out of emotion,
Yeah.
and that's what Trump really appeals to. He appeals to their emotions, especially fear, and that's why it is a cult. I mean, he just really.
No, he doesn't know the meaning of the word fear. In fact, he believes we should fight fear with fear. Yeah.
Whatever.
Anyway, the joke
Yeah,
is...
Mr. Bonespurs says this. Yeah. At least Adolf Hitler served honorably in the German army in World War I.
Yeah.
As I'm sure, well, Mussolini, he had his own troubles. So he was back in the days in his youth when he was a socialist and he was facing, oppression from all sides as well until he became an asshole as well. But Trump, he was a lackluster, lazy, lethargic douchebag before, and he's even more so now.
Yeah, but here's the point. You're very nice, Tom, because you're a sweet person and you have a sweet nature about you. But I do think they're morons. Okay, and I think you got to be pretty dumb to buy that bullshit. Would you agree with me, Vernon?
Well, I work with several people at Home Depot who voted for Trump.
Oh God! My condolences.
And they're generally nice people.
Yeah.
And I think what Trump tapped into, at least with these people, was the frustration that voters had with the way government was working, and they thought, well, we've tried it with all these other politicians. Let's give this guy a try. Now, I think that was a big mistake. So.
Well, you don't hire somebody who doesn't know plumbing to be your plumber. You hire professionals. That's why people are in politics, and why, if they do a good job of representing us, they bring the pork home to your local area, and they do their job. But the thing is that, for instance, here's an example. He's moving 15,000 troops. He's going to send down to the border. And supposedly these hordes of people, which I now hear are only down in the thousands. He said 20,000. It wasn't even 20,000 when it started out, okay? And it did grow, but it never got that big. And then it's gotten smaller as they've marched through Mexico, and some people have offered them work and so on and so forth, right? So he says he's going to put 15,000 troops down there. I guess they're going to have to get down there before these people arrive, which is going to be about the first of the year. So that means that all these soldiers, all these troops that are going to be moved to the border are not going to be able to spend Christmas with their families.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're going to cost us a lot of money, probably even more money than his silly little march was going to be costing.
Oh, this is going to cost more than maybe the wall.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's true. The wall would be a bark, and maybe that's his plan.
But
bait and switch.
You've got to be a total moron.
All this is bait and switch, Tom. That's all it is, bait and switch.
Yeah, but you've got to be a total moron to believe that this is the answer. You know, that, oh, I'm with our president. He's sending 15,000 troops to the border. Well, where on the border exactly? You know,
we should start calling this Trump's Jade Helm 15.
Trump's what?
Jade Helm 15. Remember all the crap that Obama got from the military exercises down in Texas in 2015?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
An operation called Jade Helms.
And Alex Jones, you mean there's conspiracy theories running that Alex Jones were perpetuating about those Walmarts being used for detention centers for American
citizens? By the way, speaking of Alex Jones, I was just looking at, I think it was something like, I don't know, TuneIn or something online. No, it was another app, a radio app, to listen to radio stations and podcasts. And so I was looking for Alex Bennett because I want to see if we were there. It turned out we were there under Gabnet, but I looked for Alex Bennett, and I wasn't there. But the first thing that popped up was Alex Jones. So I figured, fuck it, I'll listen to him. I never really listened to Alex Jones. I've just heard what he had to say in clips. And I turn him on, and he's immediately talking about homosexual frogs and that the water has turned these frogs homosexual. And that, you know, they're supposed to jump on the eggs and then drop their sperm all over them, but now they're jumping on other male frogs and dropping their sperm all over them.
That sounds legit.
And he's going on this rant, and I'm going, it's like I wanted to tune into the Let's Do an Impression of Alex Jones channel, and there was some guy on the air doing that. But no, this was really Alex Jones. I lasted about a minute and a half with that bullshit, but nevertheless, that's what he was talking about, homosexual frogs.
But Alex, that's an alternative, legitimate source for news.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, the problem is...
For those of you who can't see me, I'm being sarcastic.
You know, when we only had 3 television networks, you could argue that, well, there wasn't enough news outlets for people to get the proper stories. But it was sure better in those days because the networks vetted everything that came out of their news departments to make sure that they were as close to true as possible. But now that you have this internet where anybody can have a channel like Alex Jones and then be doing his own news, and if you ever looked at his channel, he's got a beautiful set there, TV, you know, set with big screens in back of him and all of that, and you know. And they look at that, and they don't know the difference between that and ABC World News Tonight. And that's the problem, is that now anybody, including me, can do this and have a voice. And because it comes out in somewhat the same form as all this other stuff, you just say, well, I heard it. It's got to be true.
Yeah.
Well, no, you heard it, and it could be completely false, and you should know that.
Did you ever look up the 2016 Republican convention and how Alex Jones and his team bombed Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks? It's actually entertaining. Whatever you think of.
Oh, I hate fucking Cenk Uygur is Cenk Uygur is a piece of fucking shit. Okay, Brian, don't even mention him in my presence.
Okay, TYT.
He is a disgusting, vile human being. And I'm telling you that from personal experience. I had to do a show with him one night. Election night coverage, as a matter of fact.
Historical records indicate that John Lennon was a disgusting and vile human being, but he was a talented musician.
I knew John, and he wasn't a disgusting and vile human being.
He was a wife beater.
He was? I didn't know that.
John Lennon beat his first wife before Yoko Ono.
Well, I never heard. It's the first time I've heard it.
But my underlying point is, in spite of that,
my point is that Cenk Uygur is all I could say to myself as I was doing the show with him was, how the fuck do I get out of this? You know, the company brought me in to do a show that night, which was going to be election night coverage, and I did it with Cenk, and he had a partner at the time, and I can't remember who it was now. and
his name's Jordan or something. I can't remember.
and he just completely monopolized the conversation and didn't give any give and take, and just thought he was the most perfect, wonderful thing in the world. And I just said, this Pete guy is an absolute piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yes, Tom. And Tom is the nice guy now. He'll take over and say how nice people are. Go ahead.
No, I was going to take it back to where you were talking about complaints about the media and say, oh, this is something, the horrible thing about the internet. Well, what about yellow journalism and remember the Maine?
Well, no, I mean, it's the old Hearst line about the reporter who went to South America and said there's no war here. He said, you just go down there and report it. I'll supply the war.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's essentially what he did. He created Hearst, the Spanish-American War, if I'm not mistaken. Was the Spanish-American War? Yeah.
My point is, I mean, we have to realize that there's always been issues or problems with the media. I mean, when it's a matter of commercialism and search for advertisers and viewers, they're always going to try to go appeal to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, but I have to say that it was amazing. The people who will listen to an Alex Jones and believe it because the surroundings look like a TV show. So it's got to be legitimate to them. They're not that sophisticated to be able to tell the difference, and I think that's the problem.
Yeah, we need to find a better way of teaching media literacy.
Yes, that's a very.
We really need.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second, Charlene. Call us back, okay?
Okay.
As the saying goes, easier said than done, Tom.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
sounds very daunting to me.
It is, but it's a challenge. But we got to do it.
Yeah, we built the Hoover Dam and put a man on the moon, allegedly.
You're saying you use a very good term, media literacy. We don't have any media literacy. There was a.
We barely have financial
It was
literacy.
Damien who did a show the other night where he was talking about the War of the Worlds broadcast. No, I'm sorry, Charlene, I can't take you because you're calling on another line. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Let me call her, okay?
Uh-oh.
Let me see if I can add her to the mix. No? Oh, boy. Here, hold on a second.
Can you only take one phone line?
Me do it. No. If I do that, maybe I can bring her in. Are you there, Charlene? Charlene?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, but you're calling on a line you shouldn't be calling on.
Ah, really? I don't know how that happened.
Because you weren't making a fresh call. You were calling on.
Like I'm doing an old call.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try it again.
Bye. Okay. Let me go back to our panel.
Lovely day.
Yeah. She was calling on if you're a caller, you have to make a fresh call every time. You can't go to one of our former.
You got to go right into contacts.
Yeah, you got to go into
That's
contacts.
how I do.
And
I
calls.
just go to the contacts and call
Right.
from
You
there.
can't go to the.
Can't go to a previous call.
Well, there's a previous panel. For instance, she might still have there, and that's what she was using to dial it. And you can't do that. So, anyway, just find your Gabnet live contact and use that to call with, Charlene. When we talk about it, media literacy, I think is a good term for it. But maybe it's that I've spent my entire life in media, so I'm very aware of it. So I guess I have media literacy, and I can tell the real from the fake.
Well, I've learned a lot of media literacy from listening to you.
I guess I would hope that would be nice if some people did. But
I learned a lot about
I know what I was saying. What I was going to say was Damien was talking about the War of the Worlds broadcast, and how could people have been suckered by this thing, because even at the beginning they say the CBS Broadcasting Network presents War of the World by Orson Welles, and then he announces the beginning of it, and then they go into the the whole thing, and then that only goes for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then the second half of it is a narration along with him being in hiding or something like that. So he said, I just don't understand how people get fooled by that. Well, there were two reasons why. To begin with, radio was a new medium, okay? And some people tuned in late, and they believed this because that was the only way they heard radio in the past. So the lack of sophistication in what you call media literacy, because radio was new, is what caused the War of the Worlds broadcast to panic people. You could do that same thing today and not panic anybody.
Right.
Okay? But back then, it was very easy to, because people turned on this radio and they didn't, they just turned it on. I guess they had the station on before, and once the tubes warmed up, there was this program that they were catching in the middle, and they're going, oh, Grover's Mill, what, they're attacking?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what when you talk about media literacy, that was a time when we had no media literacy at all. Charlene, you're doing it again. Hold on a second. I just hung up on her. I don't know what she's doing or how she's doing it, but she's not calling. You're not calling our number, Charlene.
Can you add her to this group call?
Well, I tried to. If she calls again, I'll see what I can do. It's difficult to do. It really is. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There, I have two things on Charlene. Wait a minute.
Can you just call her back, Alex?
Hold on a second. Let me try calling her back.
Is 8-point fuck gonna make it worse?
No. Let me see here. Are you guys there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're still there. Well, I'm calling her and she's not picking up. Okay, well, I tried.
Oh, well.
But what I'm hearing is the audio cutting out, in and out, and in and out every time you try to take a call for some reason. I don't know if it's her doing it or what the fuck.
Here too.
Yeah, but you're fine now, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine now.
I don't think it's Skype fucking with us. I think she's doing something wrong out there. So anyway, we could use some more callers, folks. But Vernon, there were some things you wanted to pick up on from last night about. We were talking about elections and the Electoral College versus the what do you call it, the popular vote, and you had a couple of points that you said you wanted to make that somehow you couldn't get across last night. So since you have a good phone line right now, have at it.
Yeah, thanks to Sprint.
Yeah.
Anyway, the point that kind of got lost was that the NPVIC, which is the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, is essentially an agreement between the various states. The Constitution allows every state to decide how they're going to select the people that they send to the Electoral College to vote for president. Every state can do this any way they so please. Now, it just turns out that most states do it the same way, except for Maine and Nebraska. Maine and Nebraska will actually apportion, based on the popular vote, how many of their electors go for this guy and how many go to that guy. Mm-hmm. Every other state, it's winner take all.
Mm-hmm.
But the NPVIC basically says, and there's 11 states plus the District of Columbia that have signed this since it started in 2006. Basically, it doesn't go into force until there are enough states who have passed it to get 270 electoral votes locked down.
Yeah.
Once you've got that, then the Electoral College becomes a popular vote election, just like it should be.
Now, how does that work, though?
How that works is, if the state passes this law, mm-hmm. they are bound legally and constitutionally, mm-hmm. not constitutionally, but legally, they're bound by the law that they pass to wait until the popular vote is decided nationally in all 50 states and the District of Columbia, and then whoever wins that popular vote will get all of their electoral voters to the Electoral College.
So it would have to be whoever is winning the popular vote would get all the electors?
Yes. Right now there's 172 out of 270 that are
So in other words,
down.
they would
now,
pledge...
As you can imagine, most of the states that have already done it are New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, California, Washington
So wait a minute. So let me get this straight. What happens is they would wait till the votes came in from all the other states, and find out who won the popular vote, and then they would pledge their electors towards that person who won the popular vote?
Once you get to that threshold of 270, yes.
Yeah.
But until then, they do it the way they're doing it now.
Mm-hmm. Still
And I mentioned this months ago, too. I brought this up months ago.
Yeah, but I don't exactly I can't wrap my brain around it exactly. What happens is, okay, it's election night. Now here comes the election. All right. And Hillary Clinton wins by 3 million votes. Now, what happens to these states now?
Well, in the states that have already passed this compact, it wouldn't make any difference. But let's say Florida, which is a toss-up state, it has 29 electoral votes. Let's say Florida passes the compact. Okay?
Yeah.
If Florida had passed the compact, and if Pennsylvania had passed the compact, which there's pending legislation in both of those states, if they had passed it in 2016, Donald Trump would not be president.
Why?
Because Pennsylvania and Florida would have cast all of their votes for Hillary Clinton instead of Donald Trump.
Well,
even though he won he won those states.
Won those states, but he did not win the popular vote over all 50 states.
Right.
So my question here is, isn't this just a simple, a rather complex way of getting rid of the Electoral College? That essentially you're allowing the Electoral College to exist, but you're basically doing away with the concept of it. So why not just do away with it altogether?
Well, the problem is it takes a constitutional amendment.
I see. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
Yeah. The general principle, you have to embrace the baby steps before you can move on to the bigger shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. But that
I'll take it. I don't give a fuck. I'll take. I said, I was using the counties as just a loose example, but whatever it takes.
To Charlene Martinez says, to Gabnet Live, I would have been very quiet. What does that mean? First, you got to be able to get in, Charlene. To Gabnet, I know I'm calling late. It's okay. What, she's sending me one message after another. Jesus, look at this.
Getting as bad as Tony.
Yeah, sorry. This is all my Facebook stuff. If I go over to Facebook, I'll see them. Oh, I guess not. What's she using? What is she calling using? She's using Facebook Messenger. Anyway. But anyway. I don't know what your problem is, Charlene. You've called the show hundreds of times. You must know how to call it by now. Plus, I have two different numbers on you here that seem to be in play.
Maybe try restarting your computer, and then after it restarts and resets itself, call back in again using Skype. See what happens.
Well,
Charlie.
I could try this. Hold on a second. This is a number where she is at. Okay. Now I don't know how to add you to the crowd here, Charlene. Let me see here. No, I can't do this, Charlene. You're gonna have to either try calling me again or whatever. Anyway, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Unless create a new group. No, I don't want to do that. Well, I can't do it. It's too much trouble. I just don't know why she's having a problem since she hasn't had a problem before. You know, could it be the new Skype? No, because you guys called. You know, and our friend Vernon Nunn has called, so you know we're okay. It's just that I just feel that the reason for the Electoral College had nothing to do with equalizing things out for the state. It was a convenience because it took so long for these electors to get to Washington. That's why the Electoral College is in January. You know, why
well,
is
a lot
it?
of what we have now stems from the horse and buggy days.
Exactly.
I mean, Jack even told me that the reason why counties existed to begin with, talking about counties now, is that it would take in the horse and buggy days, especially in Texas, a day to get to the county center, the county capital on horse and buggy. From it was designed so that it would take no longer than a day to get to the county capital from wherever in that particular county you were stationed in.
Yeah, that was Charlene, by the way, trying to call in again. So, you know, I have no idea.
Probably the same logic applies to counties in Pennsylvania, because it itself is a big state and other states of the union.
Well, all I'm saying is the reason is that it took a while to get people, say, from the outlying areas to Washington to vote on it, and to get, you know, you couldn't like call and say, okay, so so and so won in our state tonight. You know,
speaking of contemporary laws that exist now because of horse and buggy times, that's why we have a 3-month-long summer vacation period for most students across the country.
So, but that's the reason why they compacted all those votes into a handful of votes and said this is a representation of how our state voted. However, it's not truly a representation because usually it's winner take all. There are some states, aren't there, where you have a split electoral college.
Right now, there's only 2, and that's Nebraska and Maine.
Yeah, yeah. And yes, what were you going to say, Tom?
Yeah, well, it's still a form of gerrymandering, and there are. I mean, I have been reading that actually, from the very beginning of the country, the smaller states with lower population were worried about getting overrun or being overruled by the larger population states, and were trying to assert some kind of equilibrium in that sense.
That is a valid reason.
People say that a lot of it was the motivation of the slave states, and that the Electoral College is sort of like one of the lingering things that we've got from our days when we were debating slavery.
Yeah.
So.
Which is why I wonder, if we'd allowed the Confederate States of America to be the Confederate States of America, would we really be worse off in 2018?
There is some argument that people have had about if they didn't want to be here, let them go. You know, they're not the states we like.
Jack's one of them.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
he, unlike us, his skin tone is of a darker hue than most of ours.
Yeah, but I mean,
he agrees with that logic that they should have just been.
When they seceded from the Union, rather than saying, "Oh no, you can't," and then going to war, we should have just said, "Good riddance." Right. You know.
In retrospect, I wonder if we should have.
Well, but what would happen with the question of slavery? Would we still have slavery in the South?
Well, or would we still, maybe not, probably not, on account of how industrialization and mechanization of agrarian tools like your tractors and your bulldozers and your and so on and so forth would have made that obsolete. A, and B, I wonder, with the free trade fervor of the Clintons and the outsource it to China and other foreign markets that started under Reagan and maybe even a little before, if cities like Pittsburgh would have not have been as deindustrialized as they are now, if they had to compete against a country, the South, that has traditionally been our adversary. If we'd have just been more protectionist in terms of our economies, the South too being protectionist as well, mind you, and that we wouldn't have been so willy-nilly on our willingness to outsource shit.
Yeah. By the way,
read Harry Turtledove's Southern Victory series and see if you don't come to that conclusion, as I have, about the economies being more protectionist.
Let me put out a word. Would at least one more person call this program using Skype, please, so I can make sure that it's just Charlene and not this new Skype system, okay? It would be a great help to us if one more person called tonight. I know this is a smaller than usual group, but oddly enough, we have a lot of viewers out there tonight. It's a very high viewing audience. So go
smaller participants, but bigger discussions. We're allowed to take bigger turns in terms of voicing our opinions and our minds. Whereas if it's 11 people on the panel, everybody has to raise their hand like they're in grade school and all that. So there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah. Exactly. So would one more person call just so I can make sure and then you can go if you want to. I just want to make sure we can.
Thank you.
No, I'm not talking about
like
you
the
guys.
Confederacy, leave and we'll say good riddance to you. We won't hold you back.
Yeah.
Let me try it, Alex, and I'll call back on the phone if it doesn't work.
No. Okay, give it a try on Skype, Vernon. Let's see what happens. Okay. Well, I should have said wait until we see if somebody else calls, but. You know, I'm just so distraught right now with what's going on. You know, it's funny. There's this guy. His name is Chuck Lorre, and Laurie rather, and he runs a whole bunch of shows on CBS. He's a top comedy producer. Big Bang Theory is his mom. Young Sheldon, 2.5 Men was his, and he runs these things called vanity cards at the end of the show. Here, what do you know? There is a problem.
Oh my! Vernon.
Let me see here. Okay, let me try calling Vernon back, and let's see if we can add him. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I just don't know what the problem is here. I think we got a problem, folks. I think we got a problem.
The audio cuts in and out again.
I'm just trying to remember how I used to do it. Oh, God. I don't know.
You need a fucking scorecard to keep score of this shit.
Yeah.
In terms of how you did it before. And
yeah.
Ain't technology wonderful?
I'm having a hard time getting it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy. Oh, God. Fuck you, Skype. You know? Really, fuck you. Fuck you and the horse you came in on.
Yeah, fuck you in the ass with a keyboard and a mouse, and hopefully both can fit in that tiny little orifice hole you call an asshole.
See, I can't do it. And there's no way to put them on. I'm just trying to think if there's a way I can do it, and I don't think there is. Add participants, send files and more. Let's see here. What add people to this call? No. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I'm hearing you okay, Alex.
I know you're hearing me okay, but you're not coming through on the other line. You're not coming through on a line that I can put you on.
So that's the same reason, same problem that Charlene was having.
Having the same problem Charlene was having, yeah. Yep. So
back to before that, and I wonder, let's say slavery did still exist in a neo-confederacy of 2018.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have existed for much longer on account of the fact
John
that
Rockwell
they would just have.
John Rockwell is trying to call, same problem.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, there is. Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Now there is. Hold on a second. Now I've got both John Rockwell and Vernon on the line. Hold on a second. Let me go back to Brian a second. Would you two guys hang up and call me? Okay, sure. And let me see if I can add you to it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm on the phone now.
Yeah. So let me go here. There we go.
Are you getting me at all?
Yeah, I'm getting you, John. And now I'm waiting for these other guys to call back to see. Yep, there we go. We can add them to the group. Now we're fine. There we go. Yeah.
Well, I don't see anybody, but oh, here we go. It's
Here we
starting.
go. Here we go.
Ah,
Yeah.
there's Thomas. Hello, Tom.
And
How you doing, Tom?
Good
to see you.
Where's Brian?
This too.
Good question.
Yeah, Brian didn't call. Anyway.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Calling Sue.
Yeah. I thought I picked up on him.
Huh.
You know. Here we go. Add him to the group.
I just
call.
got in from outside. I guess you've been having this problem all night.
I think this was a problem. Charlene, you can try now too. I think this was a problem with the way we originally were set up here. You know.
Oh.
And now it seems to be working fine. I think if Charlene calls right now, she'd probably get in as well. So you know.
I see that.
I can't see your video feed, Alex.
You can't see my video feed?
No, I cannot.
Yeah,
I can't either. It just has a Gabnet logo.
Yeah.
Really? There. How's that?
Nah, not really.
Not really. You can't see me.
Nope.
I'm seeing everybody.
Oh, you're seeing everybody, and you're on Skype, right? Are you, Vernon?
Yeah, I'm on the phone, but I've also got my tablet looking at Gabnet.
Oh no, but that you would
okay,
see
on,
me. Okay,
YouTube.
and
Might as well just go on there then.
here comes Charlene. I can add her to the call, but
there we go.
But none of you can see me.
Nope.
Wow.
On Skype.
No,
I see
mean,
you down
we
in the
know what
corner.
you look like, Alex. So don't worry about it.
they know what I look like. Yeah.
We love you, Alex. We don't need to see you. You know, just talk.
I don't know. This may just be some kind of screw up tonight. You know.
It sounds like it. It looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah, but why isn't it the... oh, I know what might be the problem. Hold on a second. Let me go up to Tools, Options. Let me go to Video Settings.
He's getting technical on us.
No, Video Settings. I'm there.
There's Charlene.
There she is. Yeah, we see her.
Yeah, but none of you can see me.
I see you.
Yeah.
Oh, you can...
I can't.
No, but you can see me on your iPad because you're not using... You're not looking at me on Skype, are you, Vernon?
No, I'm looking at you on YouTube.
Right. That's not... they
Not
can't...
on
They
Skype.
can't see me on Skype.
No. Lovely
Okay.
logo. That's it.
Oh, fuck them. You know, why can't you? Now the question is why you can't see me.
Quien sabe, amigo? No idea.
You know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do? We may as well do this to just test this out. I'm going to sign out of everybody. Okay.
Oh.
And then I'm going to close down Skype, and then I'm going to relaunch it. And I want you guys to then call me back. Okay. And let's see what happens to that. Okay. All right. So I'm closing down Skype. All right. I'm going to go sign out of Skype. Okay. Now I'm going to sign in again. Okay. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me just put my picture up so that you can see me while this is going on. Wait a minute. Not now. Not now. Okay. All right. All right. And I'm online. Let's see if these people are going to call me now. Let me get rid of that. Hide conversation. Okay. Okay. Okay, and Brian Ludwig. I'm adding Brian to the group. Okay, and let's see if anybody else calls and what happens to them.
Now I can see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, it's only 3 of us again.
Right. But now if Charlene and John will call, maybe we can see if that will work. No. Damn it. Answering this call will put the... Oh, no, somebody's calling on the old thing. They're calling on the old... No, you can't call on that old thing. What you can't call... You have to make it as an original call here. Okay?
Yeah, go to contacts.
You go to contacts, go to Gabnet Live, and dial that way. Here we go. Here comes Vernon. Vernon, are you calling using the phone or using the Skype? Vernon?
I'm using Skype.
Okay. All right. So you came on okay. So we got 3 people. Let's come on, John Rockwell. Come on, Charlene. Let's do it. We want to make sure that this isn't fucked up. Okay. So, what's that? Anyway, and we keep the audience. We keep the large audience because they love to see me fail. They just love to see technical problems. But we need other people to call, folks, so I can make sure this works okay. It seems to be okay now. And you can see me too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm playing
Frozen.
Yeah.
Oh,
of course, you're breaking up on us a little bit there, Vernon, because you're using Skype in a place where you haven't got a lot of bandwidth, unfortunately. We love you back home when you've got your Morse code and everything. Oops, he's hanging up. Come on, where's John Rockwell? Come on, John, give us a call. Charlene, try again. Here we go. This is Vernon, probably calling by phone, right, Vernon?
Yeah.
Yeah. My bandwidth just really sucks here.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a clusterfuck. Anyway, well, we'll wait and see if John calls or Charlene calls. There should be no reason why they won't call, but...
Vernon, you're calling from your hotel, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm out on the balcony, actually, and it's starting to rain.
But we did get Vernon in there on Skype, so I can do more than a couple.
Yeah, those hotels, they only use Wi-Fi, and a lot of the hotels, their connection sucks. It's not just you.
They're all getting better though. And pretty soon we're going to have like we have Wi-Fi now in the subways, and not just at stations, but between stations. So it's pretty soon we're going to be a completely Wi-Fi'd society, and it's all going to be free actually. So
I had to pay extra for Wi-Fi here.
Oh really? Well, they should give you your money back.
Agreed.
Where's Tom? Where's John? And where's Charlene? Huh? I have no idea. Well, I'll say to Charlene, call us. What is this? Sign into chat. What's that about? Okay, here we go. Add to group. Okay, it's all working fine now.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
It was I had to simply relaunch my Skype, and
there you go.
And we're fine. Oh, good. Okay, we can keep doing the program like we normally do it.
Charlene and I had a very nice talk for a minute or two about some things I can do for her to digitize some tapes, and then we realized, oh, we're not on the right line. Let's get back on the So
yeah.
So I'm glad. Listen, Alex, anytime you can get me work, I'm happy.
Anytime I can get you. Oh, I got it. Your work.
Yeah, I got work from Charlene.
Oh, really?
I can digitize some old audio.
Tim just posted.
I do that a lot.
Alex.
I do that a lot.
I was very proud of myself the other night in that I solved a major problem. I solved a major problem with. Let me see here. Here's somebody else is calling. Oh, Renee Collins is calling.
There we go.
And we're adding her to the group. Okay. The reason we're doing this, folks, in case you're wondering, is today's the first day that Skype has said they weren't going to be working. And all of a sudden, I couldn't get this thing to work right. That they weren't going to be supporting this Skype 7.0.
Oh, look at that.
The version of this, this version of their software.
Yeah. So
starting November 1st. And what happened today?
Well, I couldn't.
Nothing.
All of a sudden, I wasn't able to get all people on. But I just signed the whole system off, signed it back on. It's all working fine. So I don't think that was the problem. It was.
I don't know.
I have the old software. I don't know.
I think you're.
I haven't updated.
I think you're dancing on borrowed time.
Well, wait, no, I don't think I'm dancing on borrowed time. They're dancing on borrowed time. If they don't let me use
it
this,
work that way.
Yeah.
I
they
wish
work for us. We don't work for them.
Everybody out there, do your homework, would you please?
Sure.
And find out what the fuck can possibly be done to find an alternative system to this. It would be really nice.
They're there, but they're
Huh?
gotta dig around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if there is a good viable other than Skype currently.
I've been doing a number of meetings with Zoom.
Yeah, I've actually seen that.
Yeah, but you can. Yeah, it's not like people can just call in. You know what I'm saying? It's not that simple a system.
You have to be invited or something like that.
Oh, you have to book a meeting, and everybody has to say they're going to the meeting, and then you get a password, and that's not how Alex works, right?
Right. That's not how Alex works. Yeah, that's how you want to
Never
put
mind.
it.
No, it was a good idea. Well, see, I heard on the same thing Tom was talking about. I heard that Apple's bringing out a 25-person FaceTime, and I brought it up to Alex, and he shot me down again because it's the kind of the same thing. You have to have Apple in order to participate.
You have to have a Mac. Yeah.
Right. So screwed that too. 2 down. What else we got?
Bunch of proprietary cocksuckers. How much money could they get if they opened it up to everyone, not just Apple users?
Yeah.
Tim Cook and his gaggly band of douchebags.
I like Tim Cook.
I can't stand
Why
him.
do you
He's
not
just,
like Tim Cook?
he just after 2011 he just got detached from what's his name, Steve Jobs' testicles. So as far as I'm concerned, they both can go fuck themselves.
A little hard for Steve Jobs to go fuck himself at this point.
Well, I think. Look,
he's
I think on Halloween he could. But
what's happened is Tim Cook has kept the doors open at Apple. Okay,
Yes.
but he hasn't come up with anything really revolutionary or new. Where I think if Jobs were still around, he'd be hunting for that next big thing.
Well, okay, so Tim Cook was the one who let the watch go out because Steve Jobs didn't want it to go out. But since the watch is out, there really isn't anything that we know of, that we're seeing that's on their horizon at this particular point in time, right?
The watch was on the horizon with Steve Jobs.
He hated the watch idea.
I know maybe he hated it. I love this watch. By the way, don't you like it, Mickey?
It's 11:48.
Yes.
I love this watch. I go to sleep at night and I wake up in the morning. It tells me how much I slept and how much I was awake and how much I was restless.
Okay.
And when I'm at the gym, it tells me my pulse rate and stuff like that. It's really good.
Steve Jobs didn't want it out.
He
didn't want it.
There was something else that he didn't want, but he eventually went for.
And it worked too.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. So he's not right all the time.
Well, no, he wasn't right all the time, but I think that he had a different way of running the company. I think now the company is all they're doing is they're refurbishing their ideas, okay? Because you say the Apple Watch was in the pipeline, it's just that Jobs wasn't completely sold on the idea. He might have been had he seen what the watch was going to turn out to be. But I don't know. Things like the HomePods. I know you have one. My question to you is, I think Amazon does a better job of it.
Well, okay, let's talk about this. So there's a couple portions of this. My big feeling is that Apple's looking for hardware to get rid of because they're trying to, I guess, more laser focus on a lot of their products. So I could easily see Apple dumping all of their HomePod stuff and then calling Sonos? Is it Sonos or Sonos? Sonos. Calling them up and partnering with them because they've already got it. They've got the wireless down. They've got the speaker systems down. They've got everything down. Apple has already lost the hardware in this battle. So partner with somebody else who's already done it and release yourself to go do something else.
Yeah. Let me stand up for a minute because I want to make my watch's rings all go together. Because at midnight it stops.
Well, you only have 10 more minutes.
I only have 10 more minutes, but I have to stand up. Otherwise, it doesn't like me,
By the way, I'm happy I'm happy to see Renee's dog over there. I've heard you had one, but how cute! What a gorgeous, and such a quiet and you know,
He's
collapsed dog. Crashed dog.
It's
very cute. It looks like from the back of you probably have a cat too, because I see the little one. Yeah.
It's a Hawaiian. It's a Hawaiian
I
dog.
thought it was a great idea.
Now that dog. Did you bring that dog over from California? Yeah. Okay. Didn't you have to put them in like a rabies thing or something, or you had to keep them in?
It's not like going to England or
in
something.
the house. No,
actually it is. This is one of the. So there's three things that actually has to happen. Number one is there's no rabies in Hawaii.
Oh.
And that's why you have such strict rules about bringing animals in.
Let's add to that though the question of what if all of a sudden rabies occurred? You're on an island and you're
how do you stop it?
You fly the vaccine in really quickly.
I guess.
Or would it flush itself out eventually if nobody else was allowed in, no other animal was allowed in, and let the rabies virus?
Of course, you had leprosy.
Yeah, we already had that.
Definitely. Yeah.
Volcanoes, hurricanes, leprosy.
In fact, what's the island that was the lepers island there?
Lanai was it?
Lanai?
No, it was one of those.
I think it was Lanai.
It was the leper colony. Yeah.
Molokai.
Molokai.
You're right.
And I think they still have lepers there, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think they do. Actually, you know what's there? Just to let you guys know, a huge cat colony resort.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You know what there was there, though? I do know about this.
They're all feral.
There was some guy owned the island.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he owned the island. He owned the island, and what he did was he wanted to preserve the Hawaiian race. And so he took only pure Hawaiians and allowed them to live there for free.
Yes.
And as long as they didn't mate with other people who were non-Hawaiians, because he wanted to maintain the purity of the Hawaiian. Because you go to Hawaii and you meet people and you say, so what are you? You say, well, I'm part Swedish, I'm part Hawaiian, I'm part Japanese, I'm part this, I'm part that. You know,
part Filipino.
And that's because all these cultures went to Hawaii and fucked their brains out with the local natives and completely decimated the Hawaiian strain, as it were. So this guy was out to preserve it. This guy was out to preserve it. What?
I would love to start a program where we DNA typed everybody on the island that thinks that they've got Hawaiian blood in them, put all that in there, condense it up to the people that are true Hawaiians, get their DNA, their sperm, and their eggs.
Yeah.
Freeze it all.
I think we did that, though. We would find that I say this.
Glad you said Polynesian, not Native American, because obviously, as far as Native American is concerned, Elizabeth Warren still wouldn't qualify.
Well, what I was going to say was, if we had that test,
Bill, if you're listening, that was for you.
What would come out? What would come out is that we would find out that Elizabeth Warren was the only true Hawaiian. But that was my joke. That was my 6%. Joke. What?
I said by like 6% or some shit.
Yeah. So
again, Phil, if you're listening, that joke was for you.
I talk to people here all the time, but the one thing I ask them, they will tell you they know very few pure Hawaiians. Mm-hmm. And they will say, one of them has said, I've only met 3 in my entire 40 years of living on the islands. And I'm like, oh, that's not very, they go, there's not many left. And that's why I was thinking, let's just DNA everybody. Let's find the true Hawaiians. Yeah. Let's get their sperm, get their eggs, and then cryogenically freeze it all to protect
the problem is you probably aren't going to find them, you know.
Like saving the species.
Not enough, anyway.
The only place you're going to find them is on Lanai if that still exists, or Molokai if that still exists. So, you know.
It's just amazing that the British just came across the planet, and I know we invaded Hawaii.
It was the what do you call it? It was the evangelists, the what do you call it?
The Mormons here.
The people that came and figured they were going to take these heathens, and in fact they put the moo on them. because they were running around naked. You know, well, why put clothes on in paradise, right?
It's hot.
It made them
the
missionaries. And in fact, the missionaries, the relations of the missionaries own most of Hawaii.
They own way too much
on the
of it.
big island of Hawaii. Like, could you buy your property that you're on, or did you have to lease it for 100 years?
No, so there are areas where you're not allowed to own the land. And you just get to lease it, and those are very extreme
because
houses.
All of Oahu, or from what I understand, all of Oahu is leased. Like
so part of that is the Japanese influx back in the 70s and 80s. In the United States, we believe that we should own the house and own the land. All right.
Believe it or not, I was there in the 60s. Okay. I was there in the 60s, and I was told that most of the island of Hawaii was owned by these missionary families, and that if you wanted to build a building or build a home or whatever, you had to put it on land which you didn't buy, but that you leased for 100 years.
Right, okay. And that's how the how the Mormons on Oahu have their what is that place called? They have a whole. They own a lot of the eastern side of Oahu, and they shouldn't because they just showed up. It's not like it was supposed to be their land in the first fucking place, and they just took it.
Yeah.
And that's what most of these people did. They just took the land, and they're still doing it too. But I don't know. I think they have a little bit of Asian influence in them because they think that white people are going to go away, and the problem is we don't go away. When we go conquer something.
Much like peanut butter, we stick to the root.
We hang out.
Yeah, hundreds of years.
Someone explain that to white.
And then we cover a beautiful naked body.
Shirley, you're right.
We cover a perfectly beautiful naked body with a piece of giant cloth. You know, and that, by the way, is one of the reasons why some of the Hawaiians got wiped out, because they got hit with disease. White man's diseases, and then those moo-moos were a disease catcher. Okay, that's a horrible thing. It's what we did to the American Indians. So
yes, that's what I thought.
But the Native Americans gave us Europeans syphilis.
Right.
Okay.
Did they? I didn't know
Neil
that.
deGrasse Tyson said as much.
I think maybe he's wrong,
because
on the
Joe Rogan program, and that's where I got that information from.
Yeah, Joe Rogan is where I get all my information.
Syphilis had to be around
syphilis.
before
No,
then.
syphilis was a European disease.
Spaniards,
Syphilis.
I think,
I'll go look it up, but I think syphilis was a European disease. To be honest with you. Anyway, hey, I gotta go. You know. But I thank you all, and thank God it turns out that it wasn't Skype behaving badly.
Thank God it wasn't me.
My system behaving badly. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Vernon. If you can hear us. Charlene, thank you very much. Tom, thank you. John Rockwell, thank you.
Yep.
And Renee in Hawaii, thank you so very much, and thanks for calling me so that I could see that this thing worked and that it wasn't Skype fucking with me. Give everybody a big wave goodbye, would you? Okay, there they go, folks. And I'm Alex Bennett. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We finally, I was so paranoid tonight that it wasn't going to work because Skype, as I say, has gone to, trying to do away with the system that we use. And, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. The fact was, we finally got it working. I'm Alex Bennett. Jack Bishop is next with The Intersection, followed at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time by Connections. Tomorrow night, Damian Chaplin will be back. He took the night off. He'll be back with his program at 9:30, and then I'll be here at 10 o'clock. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.